Every day, drivers enjoy the convenience of modern vehicles, unaware of the groundbreaking innovations that once promised to revolutionize their driving experience. From the much-hyped turbocharged rotary engines that faltered in reliability to the futuristic 1980s digital dashboards that became obsolete, these innovations captivated car enthusiasts but failed to stand the test of time. But how could a seemingly brilliant idea turn into a forgotten relic? Join us as we explore 20 car innovations that did not stand the test of time. Number 20. Bench seats. Bench seats, which stretched across the entire width of a car and allowed 3 people to sit in the front row, were a common feature from the 20s to the 1980s. They were designed to maximize seating capacity and comfort, making travel more convenient for families and groups. Bench seats became particularly popular in American cars, symbolizing spaciousness and ease of use. People appreciated the ability to slide across the seat and exit from either side of the car. However, as safety standards improved, the drawbacks of bench seats became evident. They offered less support and protection compared to bucket seats, especially in collisions, and lacked individual seat belts and headrests for each passenger, raising safety concerns. By the 1980s, automakers began favoring bucket seats, which provided better support and allowed for the integration of advanced safety features like airbags and adjustable seat belts. Number 19. Vent windows. Vent windows, also called wing windows, were small triangular windows found at the front corners of car doors. Introduced in the 1930s, they allowed air to flow into the car before air conditioning was common. These windows could be tilted open to let fresh air circulate, helping cool the car on hot days. Vent windows were especially popular in the 1950s and 60s, becoming a unique feature of many classic cars. At first, drivers liked the convenience of vent windows, as they could get a breeze without fully opening the main windows, which was useful at high speeds. However, vent windows had drawbacks, like leaking during rain and being an easy target for thieves. As car designs changed and air conditioning became standard, automakers phased out vent windows by the 1980s, opting for more streamlined designs that improved aerodynamics and fuel efficiency. Number 18. Ashtrays. Ashtrays were once a common feature in cars, offering a convenient place for smokers to dispose of cigarette ashes and butts. Introduced in the early 20th century, ashtrays became standard in most vehicles by the 1950s. They were typically built into the dashboard, doors, or center console, allowing easy access for drivers and passengers. At a time when smoking was widespread and socially accepted, people appreciated having ashtrays in cars. However, as awareness of the health risks of smoking increased, the demand for in-car ashtrays began to decline. Additionally, they posed safety risks, such as being a fire hazard if not properly maintained. By the 1990s, automakers started to phase out ashtrays, replacing them with more practical features like cup holders and storage compartments. This change also reflected the growing number of people who were quitting smoking or choosing not to smoke at all. Number 17. Record players. In the 1950s, car manufacturers introduced record players as an exciting new feature for in-car entertainment. These players allowed drivers and passengers to enjoy their favorite vinyl records while traveling, a novel idea at a time when radio was the main source of music in cars. People were initially excited about this innovation, but the excitement quickly faded due to several practical issues. The bumpy ride caused the needle to skip, leading to a poor listening experience. Additionally, the record players were large and took up valuable space inside the car. Safety concerns also became evident, as changing records while driving was both distracting and dangerous. By the 1960s, in-car record players fell out of favor as better alternatives emerged. The introduction of 8-track tapes and later cassette players offered a more reliable and convenient way to enjoy music on the road, leading to the end of the in-car record player era. Number 16. Landau bars. Landau bars were decorative features added to cars to mimic the look of convertible carriages from the 18th century. These bars originated in Landau, Germany, where they were initially functional, supporting the folding roofs of horse-drawn carriages. As automobiles emerged, manufacturers adopted this design to evoke a sense of luxury and nostalgia. In the 1920s and 30s, U.S. automakers began producing cars with fixed roofs that featured simulated convertible tops with side landau bars. These bars were purely ornamental, intended to give cars an elegant old-world appearance, and became popular as a status symbol. However, as consumers realized the bars served no practical purpose, their appeal diminished. They added unnecessary weight and complexity and often rusted or broke, leading to maintenance issues. By the late 20th century, landau bars were replaced by more practical features like sunroofs and panoramic roofs, which offered real benefits such as improved ventilation and natural light. Number 15. Column shifters. Column shifters, first introduced in the 1930s, were gear shift levers mounted on the steering column of cars. This innovation aimed to free up space in the front seat, creating a roomier cabin that could accommodate an extra passenger. These shifters were especially popular in American cars during the 40s and 50s, when large family sedans and trucks were common. Drivers appreciated the additional seating space and the straightforward design. However, as car designs advanced, the downsides of column shifters became more noticeable. They often lacked the precision of floor-mounted shifters, leading to issues with selecting gears. Additionally, the linkage mechanism were prone to wear, resulting in maintenance challenges. By the 1960s, with the rise of sports cars and a growing demand for more ergonomic and performance-focused designs, column shifters began to decline in popularity. Floor shifters, offering better control and a sportier feel, became the preferred choice. Number 14. Luggage racks. Luggage racks used to be a common feature on cars, especially during the mid-20th century, typically mounted on the roof or trunk to carry extra luggage. They were popular for family road trips and vacations, as car trunks were often small and could not fit all the luggage needed for long journeys. Initially, people liked luggage racks for their practicality, but they soon encountered problems. The racks added significant wind resistance, reducing fuel efficiency. They also posed safety risks, as improperly secured luggage could fall off and cause accidents. Additionally, the racks were prone to rust and damage, requiring frequent maintenance. As car designs improved, manufacturers began incorporating larger trunks and more efficient storage solutions, which reduced the need for external luggage racks. The introduction of roof boxes and more aerodynamic designs provided safer and more practical alternatives, leading to the decline of luggage racks by the late 20th century. Number 13. Car phones. Car phones were mobile telephones designed for use in cars, first introduced by Bell System in 1946 in St. Louis, Missouri. These early phones were large and heavy, weighing around 80 pounds, and took up significant space in the car. They were mainly popular among business professionals who needed to stay connected while traveling. Despite the excitement of making calls from a car, the service had its drawbacks. The limited number of channels led to frequent busy signals, and the high cost of installation and service fees made car phones a luxury item. Safety concerns also emerged, as using a phone while driving could distract drivers and cause accidents. As technology advanced, mobile phones became smaller, more affordable, and widely available. By the 1990s, the convenience of handheld mobile phones replaced car phones, and the introduction of Bluetooth and integrated car communication systems further reduced the need for dedicated car phones. Number 12. Hood ornaments. Hood ornaments were once a popular decorative feature mounted on the front of cars, often on the radiator cap. They became widespread in the 1920s and 30s, serving as both brand identifiers and symbols of luxury. Automakers like Rolls-Royce, with its famous Spirit of Ecstasy, and Cadillac, with its winged figures, used these ornaments to enhance the elegance and uniqueness of their vehicles. While initially admired for their aesthetic appeal, hood ornaments pose several issues. They could be dangerous in accidents, potentially causing injuries to pedestrians, and were also prone to theft and damage. Additionally, as car designs evolved towards more streamlined and aerodynamic shapes, hood ornaments became less practical. By the 1960s, safety regulations and changing consumer taste led to their decline. Today, hood ornaments are rare, mainly found on vintage cars or as retractable features on luxury models, replaced by sleek integrated logos that maintain brand identity without compromising safety. Number 11. Pop-up headlights. Pop-up headlights were a unique car feature that first appeared in the 1930s. These headlights could flip up when needed and hide under the car's exterior when not in use, giving vehicles a sleek, modern look. The Cord 810, introduced in 1936, was the first car to showcase this innovation. Pop-up headlights became especially popular in the 1980s and 90s, particularly in cars like the Mazda MX-5 and the Chevy Corvette. They were designed to improve aerodynamics and give cars a futuristic appearance. Initially, consumers were fascinated by their novelty and style, but pop-up headlights had several drawbacks. The mechanical parts were prone to failure, leading to maintenance issues. Additionally, changing safety regulations made it difficult for manufacturers to comply with new standards, and the headlights posed a risk to pedestrians in accidents. By the early 2000s, pop-up headlights were phased out in favor of more reliable and safer fixed headlights. Number 10. Floor dimmer switch. The floor dimmer switch, introduced in the 1920s, was a car innovation that allowed drivers to change between high and low beam headlights by pressing a button on the car floor with their foot. This improvement aimed to boost driving safety by letting drivers keep their hands on the steering wheel while adjusting the headlights. The switch became popular in the 1940s and 50s, especially in American cars. Initially appreciated for its convenience and safety, it had drawbacks. Being on the floor, it wore out quickly and needed frequent maintenance. It also struggled in wet or muddy conditions due to dirt and moisture affecting its performance. By the 1980s, it was mostly replaced by steering column-mounted switches, which were more reliable and allowed for advanced headlight controls, enhancing driving safety and convenience. Number 9. Vinyl roofs. In the 1960s and the 1970s, vinyl roofs were a trendy feature for cars. Made from polyvinyl chloride, these roofs were designed to look like a convertible top without the cost or complexity. They gave cars a luxurious appearance at a more affordable price and were popular on American models like the Ford Thunderbird and Cadillac Eldorado. However, vinyl roofs had their problems. The material often cracked and faded over time, especially in harsh weather, and the adhesive used could deteriorate, causing peeling and bubbling. These issues led to frequent maintenance, reducing their appeal. By the 1980s, vinyl roofs fell out of favor as people chose more durable, low-maintenance options. Advances in paint technology and clear coat finishes offered a better, longer-lasting alternative. Number 8. The 8-track tape. The 8-track tape, introduced in the mid-60s, was a type of magnetic tape used for playing music continuously. Developed by Bill Lear of Learjet Corporation, with help from Ford and RCA, it was designed for easy and portable music in cars. The 8-track tape became popular in the late 1960s and 70s, especially in the U.S., because it didn't need to be flipped over to play more music. People liked its convenience for uninterrupted listening while driving, but it had issues. The tapes often jammed, the sound quality could worsen over time, and the track switching made a clicking noise. By the early 1980s, the 8-track tape lost favor as compact cassettes and later compact discs offered better sound quality and portability, leading to its decline. Number 7. Automatic seat belts. Automatic seat belts were introduced in the late 1980s to improve car safety by automatically moving into place when the car door was closed, so passengers didn't have to buckle up manually. The goal was to make seatbelt use more common among drivers and passengers who often forgot to wear them. Initially, these seatbelts seemed like a great innovation, but they soon faced criticism. They only secured the upper body, leaving the lap belt to be fastened manually. Many users skipped this step, leading to serious injuries and accidents. For instance, the cross-chest belt could cause severe neck injuries if the lap belt wasn't used. As studies revealed that many passengers weren't using the lap belt and the mechanisms often malfunctioned, automatic seat belts were phased out by the mid-1990s. Airbags, which provided better overall protection, became standard in vehicles and replaced automatic seat belts. Number 6. Tail fins. Tail fins were a popular car design feature introduced in the late 1940s, inspired by the twin rudders of the P-38 Lightning fighter plane. The design first appeared in the 1948 Cadillac, created by Franklin Quick Hershey. Tail fins aim to give cars a futuristic aerodynamic appearance, reflecting progress and modernity in the post-war period. The trend reached its peak in the 1950s and early 1960s, with models like the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado featuring large, dramatic fins. People were initially excited by the space-age look, which matched the era's fascination with jet planes and rockets. However, the practical advantages of tail fins were minimal. While some manufacturers claimed they improved stability, this was mainly a marketing tactic. Tail fins also increased production cost, posed safety risk with their sharp edges, and obstructed rear visibility, making parking and reversing difficult. By the mid-1960s, tail fins had fallen out of favor as automotive design shifted towards more practical styles. Number 5. Push-button transmissions. Push-button transmissions were introduced in the mid-1950s as a new way to shift gears without using a traditional lever. Chrysler led this innovation, releasing the push-button transmission in 1956. The aim was to make gear shifting easier and to free up space inside the car. This system used buttons on the dashboard to choose gears, which was seen as a cutting-edge and convenient feature at the time. Initially, people were excited by the simplicity and modern look of push-button transmissions. However, the enthusiasm quickly faded due to problems with the electrical systems, which had often failed. Common issues included blown fuses and electrical malfunctions, particularly in models like the Packard with its Ultramatic transmission. Additionally, drivers accustomed to traditional gear levers found the push-button system confusing, leading to mistakes. Number 4. White wall tires. White wall tires, which have a white stripe or sidewall, became popular in the early 1900s. They were initially made by adding zinc oxide to the rubber, which also made them more durable. These tires quickly became a symbol of luxury and style, especially in the 50s and 60s, and were seen on many high-end cars. People admired their elegant look and associated them with sophistication and class. However, keeping them clean was tough because the white rubber showed dirt easily and needed frequent washing. Plus, making these tires was more complicated and expensive than making standard black ones. As car designs changed, black tires became more fashionable, leading to a decline in the popularity of white wall tires. By the 1980s, white wall tires were largely replaced by all black tires, which were easier to maintain and more cost-effective. Number 3. Curb feelers. Curb feelers, also known as curb finders, were metal wires or springs attached to the lower part of a car's body near the wheels. They were designed to alert drivers when they were too close to the curb while parking, helping to prevent damage to the tires and hubcaps. Popular in the 1950s and 60s, especially on cars with easily scuffed white wall tires, curb feelers work by making a noise as they scraped against the curb, warning the driver. This helped avoid costly repairs and maintain the car's look. However, curb feelers had downsides. They could be noisy and embarrassing and were prone to damage and breakage. With advancements in car technology, modern vehicles now have parking sensors and cameras, providing more accurate and reliable assistance without the issues associated with curb feelers. Number 2. T-tops. T-tops, or T-bar roofs, were a popular feature in cars during the 1970s and 80s. They had two removable roof panels with a solid bar running down the center, creating a T-shape. This design aimed to give the open-air feeling of a convertible while keeping the sturdiness of a hardtop. The idea was to blend the best of both worlds, the freedom of a convertible and the safety of a coupe. Cars like the Chevrolet Corvette and Pontiac Firebird were famous for having T-tops. However, they had some issues. They often leaked, causing water damage and rust, and removing and storing the panels was inconvenient. The central bar also limited the open-air experience compared to a full convertible. As car technology improved, T-tops were eventually replaced by more reliable options like sunroofs and panoramic roofs. And number 1, Woodies. Woodies, or Woody wagons, were cars with wooden body panels popular in the 1930s and 40s. These cars used wood for their panels because it was cheaper and more accessible than metal during the Great Depression. Woodies often featured wooden panels on their rear bodywork, giving them a distinctive look. People liked Woodies for their unique appearance and roomy interiors, which were great for families and outdoor trips. However, maintaining the wooden panels was costly, as they required care to prevent rot and weather damage. By the 1950s, the popularity of Woodies declined because metal bodies became more affordable and durable. Safety was also an issue, as Woodies were less safe in crashes compared to all-metal cars. As metalworking improved, manufacturers shifted to all-steel bodies for better safety and lower maintenance. While these 20 car innovations dazzled with their promises, they ultimately failed to endure. Their short-lived existence teaches us about the challenges of staying ahead in automotive technology. What innovations do you think will fade away next? If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe for more content.